Hey there, Carrie Mitchell here. Today we are talking about letting it go. And I don't know if you are anything like me, but if you are, you have had some moment in your life where you've been perseverating over something. Something happened, it was not what you wanted, you were upset about it, and you kind of got stuck in that spin of anger and resentment and how do I fix it and what did I do wrong and what did they do wrong and that whole mess. And somebody said to you, let it go. Like, dude, you gotta just let it go. And you sat in that place of how? Like, I don't even know what that means. Like, literally, when somebody says to you, you gotta just let it go, without giving you steps and how and why bother, because this thing really was a problem and it should not have gone down the way it did. Why should I have to let it go? Without giving you all of the background, you end up in this place of really disempowerment and self-shaming of, I don't know how to let it go. Maybe I'm a bad person because I'm not going to let it go, but damn it, this was wrong, right? Okay, so if you have ever been there, stick around and watch this video because this is a real thing and it's a totally get-overable thing. Like, there are reasons, really strong and powerful reasons physiologically for your body to actually let that stuff go. Things that you want, reasons that will actually make your life better. And there's a step-by-step process that you can go through that doesn't involve just like changing your mind or choosing something else to think about. A lot of times the input and the advice we get on this is, we'll just think about something different, move on. And that's not really helpful because the agitation in your body stays there. It continues to keep your heart rate elevated and your belly upset and things like that until we do this process of like going through it and letting it go and moving on. So today we're actually going to get into the nuts and bolts of that because it is a major, major stress reducer when we can effectively and fully let it go. And in all of my work that I've done over the years with chronic healing stuff, the major thing that we have to do is get the stress out of your body. We have to release that stuff. So today we're going to totally talk about that. So if this is an interesting conversation to you, if you are still listening to us, like this video, share this video so that friends of yours can see it so that we can spread these ideas. And comment below. Let me know how you're doing and bring up your objections because I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you don't like about this. Okay? All right. So, first step, why? Why bother? You're pissed. This thing was actively wrong. It should never have gone down the way it did. And you don't like it. Why should you let it go? Take a second and just remember an event like this from sometime in the past. Maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was 5 minutes ago. Something that happened that you found yourself spinning on. Remember what happens to your body. Like, check in on your heart rate of what's going on when you're in that perseverating place. Not only are your stress indicators up, your heart rate's up, your breathing is shallowed, you may be even sweating depending on how angry this gets you. Stress is finally being recognized as what they're calling the silent killer. Stress is underneath all of our major diseases. Stress weakens our immune system. Stress makes it harder for us to bounce back from illness. Stress, even that emotional stress, is extremely hard on our bodies. So if you have any trouble at all with immune system issues, if you've got chronic pain that won't go away, if you are struggling in any of these depression or physical illness issues, getting your stress down is incredibly important. And learning these processes to actually let go of a thing that you are perseverating on and that really, really feels wrong to you. Being able to make peace with it and let go of it takes your body out of that stress really, really quickly. So this is a major stress hack, if you will, to getting back down to a more safe energy baseline so that your body can heal itself. So that's the biggest reason to let go. One of the other important reasons to let go is that when you're in that zone of perseverating and being angry and honestly sitting in your trigger around this thing, you can't think clearly because you're reactive. You're reactive and you've got all of the other times that this ever happened in your life, they're all like landing in you right now as well. And that's one of the reasons that you're as upset as you are. So when we can let go of the upsetness around this, the stress around this, then we can think more clearly, and our response to it, when we finally do write the response email, our response to it is cleaner, and it is the kind of thing that can actually make the difference that we want. When, I know this has happened sometime in your life, when you have responded in anger, it elevated the situation. It nearly always does, unless you're talking to somebody who shuts down in anger and then they get paralyzed and the situation doesn't resolve. It just goes into hiding, like it goes underground. This happens in relationships a lot. And so it comes back up 6 months later as, well, wait, you did that thing, right? When we respond in anger, it can't be effectively heard by that person. But when we can get out of the anger place and we can respond from clarity, we can be heard better and we can get the change that we wanted originally. So it's way more empowering to speak from that place of having let go of the upset. And this is a counterintuitive thing, and I want you to actually think about it for a second. We feel powerful when we're angry. Our anger is up, our energy is up, we're raw, and we feel like we get to be powerful. But the thing is, we can't be heard in that situation, so we can't affect the change we want. So it's actually a disempowered place from which to speak. So when we let go and we get the anger out of our system, or the resentments and whatever this is that we have to let go of, we get it out of our system, we can respond from a much more empowered place. As counterintuitive as that sounds, because we want to hang on to our anger because it makes us feel good, right? Okay. So we're going to go with just those two reasons to actually go to the effort of actually letting the thing go. Those two are enough, and there are more, but we'll start with those. Okay, so let's look at how we actually do this, because having someone say to you, let it go, is not very helpful, right? Right. All right. So somebody sent you an email and it was unfair. It was attacking. It accused you of something that you didn't do. It triggered you in some way. And you're rightfully upset about it. And on a normal day, you would spend hours, maybe sometimes even days, figuring out how to respond and being angry and going through all of those really, really satisfying, snarky responses, right? Tell me you do this. Tell me I'm not the only person on the planet who wants to be a good human being and does this. All right. We do it because the anger makes us feel powerful and we feel good in that place. But like I said, it's actually a non-powerful place from which to speak. So this thing has happened. And you know this place, right? You can feel it. You can remember the last time this thing happened. So the first step is just to recognize your anger. Always, always the first step is awareness. So just recognize, wow, that really sent me. Like, oh my God, before I got that email, I was feeling good. That email came through and boom, I got jacked. And just recognizing that gives you a little tiny bit of space between stimulus and response, stimulus and response. If we don't put a little wedge in between stimulus and response, we go through life with our habitual patterns. In order to do it differently, we've got to put a little tiny bit of space in there. And the word wow as a reflection of, that really sent me somewhere. That's all it takes. A tiny, tiny bit of, which puts you in the witness place to yourself. You're seeing how you are responding. And you can spend time in that place if you want and really take a look at, oh my God, look at how elevated my heart rate got. Look at how I've responded to other things around me in the room. Look how I can't communicate with my partner right now because this email is in the back of my head. I can't even enjoy dinner because this email is sitting here bothering me. You can take the time that you are interested in, the time you want to, in that place of, observation, witness, that really impacted me. That had a big impact, like on my body and my mind and my heart and my life. And then the next step is to evaluate. Do I want to stay in this place of agitation? And sometimes the answer to that is yes. Like I said, agitation makes us feel powerful. And usually when we're attacked, we're feeling not powerful. Usually anger is the result of being disempowered. Something is wrong and we know it. So you get to make a choice. Do I want to stay in this place of agitation or do I want to move on? And answer that honestly. Because if you try to jump before you're ready to, if you try to jump to letting it go, it's bullshit. Your body's not ready. Your heart isn't ready. So follow that and stay with it consciously. I'm continuing to be angry here because I want to. I want to stay angry in this moment. I could let it go. I could move on. But I like being angry right now. And give yourself that. Because that's okay. Anger it's an emotion. It's real. There is no hierarchy to the goodness of emotions. Anger is a real and powerful emotion, so allow yourself to feel it. But then keep coming back to the question of, okay, have I been here long enough? Like, have I gone through this enough times? Have I come up with enough snarky comments that I'm like, okay, I can laugh now, I can breathe deeper, it's all right? And when you come to the moment where you're able to say, yes, I'm ready to move on, and to let go of this anger, breathe into your body. Breathe into your sacrum. This is my favorite tool for energy work, for really landing a person in a decision, in anything that they really need to be self-motivated on. Place your hand, you can't see where my hand is going, but place your hand below your waist on your back at your sacrum. You can Google where the sacrum is. And feel your breath going into that space. Breathe deep into your body and feel your body settling down. This is an incredible, powerful, powerful tool for getting your body to settle down from any kind of dissociation or upset. So just breathe deep into your body, deep into your sacrum. Deep belly breaths. We'll talk about diaphragmatic breathing on one of our videos. But breathe deep in the bottom of your lungs. Feel your sacrum. I hope you're doing this with me because it takes a few breaths before you feel everything settle down. And then make the choice that this thing isn't worth my life force. Staying spun out in this is not serving me. The wrongness still exists. You're not saying that you're accepting the wrongness. You're giving yourself a break. You're letting yourself out off of that hamster wheel of spinning upset and snarky comments. God, I hope I'm not the only person who does the snarky comments in this moment. All right. And when you feel settled, like your whole energy system is going to settle out with that breathing down into the low torso, then you can make this very measured decision to okay, I'm willing to let this go. And next is one of the most important points of this whole process, and the one that is so often skipped over. As soon as you decide, actually, fully, to let it go, you will start to. You'll start to let it go, and it'll start to dissipate, and you will reach out and grab it back because you were comfortable with it. You liked it. It gave you a sense of power for a minute, for a day, for whatever. And giving that up, the ego freaks out a little bit. The ego's like, wait a minute, I had what I wanted. I don't care what your brain is doing. The ego's not ready. And so acknowledging that as you let it go, there's a little bit of you that wasn't yet ready, that doesn't want to go back to just feeling normal, likes that elevated state. There's some really interesting studies going on right now about how we get addicted to our own stress hormones. That's another issue. We'll talk about it later. But just know that as soon as you actively, fully start letting it go, it's going to rubber band back to you because the ego liked that feeling of power. And so again, you come back to center and you pat the ego on the head and say, thank you. Yes, I know you're just doing your job. Your job is to keep me safe, to keep me alive. That's totally cool. I appreciate it. We're going to let this go. And usually at that point, you can let it go completely. And it doesn't have to keep spinning in you. But if you don't pay attention to that little moment of that rubber band yanking it back to you, it'll sneak back in and it'll show up in your dreams. It'll show up, later. You'll have maybe let 75% of it go, but it will bounce back to you at unexpected moments. So pay attention to that moment. And I would love to hear from you how this goes, because it's an interesting process when you start really paying attention to it consciously. And then, so when you've gone through this and you feel like you've totally let it go, give yourself an hour before you look at the email again. Walk around the block, get really grounded in the energy of not being spun out before you go back to the thing. Before you think about it again, don't check on it in your brain, because you're going to jump. The likelihood is there that you can jump back to the elevated, anxious state. So give yourself an hour, and then when you go back to it, make the conscious choice of what's the best way. What's the most empowered way to respond to this? What is the, how can I say this, my response, in a way that can be heard? That gives you the chance to actually make the change in the relationship, in the situation, whatever it is. When you respond from that place of, what is it going to take for them to hear me rather than to just be insulted back by me? Because the snarky comments can never be heard. Not really. They'll land. They'll make the person feel bad and it'll escalate. But if you want to make the change, if you want to make the world a better place, responding from that place of, okay, that sucked. How can I be heard in my response? That smooths the whole thing out. It takes the gasoline off of the fire, and we can actually have real communication and conversation. So that is, that's the other really big reason of why we go to all of this effort to let things go, because we want the world to be better. We want this to not happen again. We want things to be different, but we can't get that if we respond from the place of elevated anger and anxiety and all of that. Okay, so walk through this. Next time this happens to you, catch yourself. Wow is the word. Just, wow, that's really shocking. That sent me. And then choose. Am I ready to let go of this? Am I willing to let go of this yet? And if the answer is no, stay in it. Write your snarky comments to yourself. Don't send them. Have that conversation with someone safe. Have your bitch fest. But not to the person, because they cannot hear you in that moment. They can't hear that. And when you get it out of your system enough and you're ready and willing to let go, breathe deep into your body first. Land yourself fully in your body so that when you make that choice, you can make it with all of you. And you can release the stress from, basically the top of your head, but certainly throat to low torso. When you land yourself fully in your body before you make that decision to let go, then the energy that has been building through your entire system, that energy can go as well. And you don't have to live in the elevated crappiness anymore. And then let it go and pay attention to the rubber band as it bounces back at you. Pat the ego on the head. It's okay. You're doing your job. I'm ready to move on. Okay. Awesome. And then make your response. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this whole thing. Share this video, like this video, comment below. Let me know how this goes. I want to hear from you. And if you hated this, my God, let me know. I want to hear from you more than anyone. When does this not work? What more motivation do you need? What is going on that keeps you from doing this on a regular basis? Okay, I want to hear from you. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.